Hey everyone, and welcome to a new video. My name is Ifat. I'm an artist and illustrator. I'd like to share with you this design that I recently made. And after I made it, I thought some of you might be interested in learning a few basic techniques that I use to create it. You'll be able to do something similar if you're very advanced, but I think I'm gonna teach you two basic techniques that you can carry on to your illustration, and I hope you guys will be able to pick them up and try them in your own illustration work. So grab your pencils and let's get started. The first thing that I would like to show you is how to draw those textured leaves, and for that I'm going to pick up my smooth brush pen, and if you'd like to download it, you're welcome to do this. There's going to be a link in the description. And let's see, I'm going to pick a nice purple. So the first thing that I want to do is create a shape. Actually, let's turn it on to wide. So the first thing that we want to do is create the basic lines. So these are going to be wavy lines. And now we want to draw leaves. So we can scale up the brush and start drawing these very simple leaves, which are also very, very fun to draw because they're so full. They kind of pour down from the brush. And what I'm trying to do is to make them kind of interesting. So I'm not gonna create one and then immediately one mirroring it, because that would be too boring basically. So I'm going to try to move them a bit farther away so that there will be some kind of variations in my leaves. So I'm kind of trying to create variations of leaves as I work up the stem, and it's a fairly streamlined process. And watch what happens when I get to the end of the stem. I would like to create a group of 3 leaves just to create a nice finish. Okay, so let's do the same for the rest of the stems. Okay, and this is what my basic plant is gonna look like. Now I'd like to bring in some textures. And 2 ways of bringing in textures is to draw directly on this layer by swiping right and using alpha lock. Another way to do that is to add a new layer and lock it in as a clipping mask. Either method will make sure that whatever you draw at the new layer or the layer mask alpha lock will fall exactly within the boundaries of the layer below. And that's the best way to bring in texture. So my preferred method is usually working with alpha lock because it's just super quick and it saves you on layer space. But for this one, I'm going to show it in clipping mask because it will enable me to have to make more changes to the layer as I go, because this is a new layer and I can always delete it and rework my texture. So this is going to be my base layer and the other one is going to be my texture layer. So let's go ahead and pick a good texture brush, and this is really up to you. I'm going to pick one that is available here on Procreate, which is Clouds, and you can find it under Elements. So I think it should be available for any Procreate version that you're using. So my basic layer is in purple and I can edit the color any way I want later on, but for now let's use it as our primary color, making sure I'm in my clipping mask, and I'm going to just start bringing in the texture. So I'm drawing it in very, very lightly. And I'm not covering everything uniformly because it will just be very, very boring. Now we can bring in different colors and they would work nice together. Let's try this light brown. And my leaves already are starting to look really nice. Let's get some deeper shading in. So the closer I am to the base of the stem, I'll use the darker shades, and the closer I am to the top of the plant, I'm going to use lighter colors. And I can use some warmer colors at the top, and it will help the leaf to really pop out. So if you use a combination of cool, which are the blues, colors, and warm colors, which are closer to the reds and the yellows, you're gonna have a very nice color combination at the end. All right, and this is what the basic design is gonna look like. Let's take another look at the layers. Now we can collapse them, merging down. We can duplicate the layer, pull the lower one, move it slightly away to the side, and change the colors. Sorry. And we have a shadow. We can play with the opacity of this lower layer. So by creating a design and then duplicating and manipulating the duplication, I created a variation that plays out as a shadow to my main element. All right, and with that, let's move on to our next element, which is the flowers. Okay, so the other element that I would like to show you is how to create a very simple but delicate flower. And I think they're fairly easy to draw, and I hope you can follow with your own design. So I'm going to use again my brush, smooth brush pen, and I'm going to pick light purple for it. I'll set the brush on about 20 or 30 percent scale. Let's see. So this flower goes like this. 3 petals, which are lighter in color, and they're going to be at the bottom. And on top of them, I'm going to pick a darker shade. And again, I'm going to draw 3 petals. Now I'm going to alpha lock, swiping right, and I'm going to head over to the sketching brushes and pick the Bonobo chalk and bring in a very nice texture. Make sure you guys can see this. And now I'm going to add some texture to the bottom part of my flower. And the last thing that I'm going to do is add some fine lines for details. So let's pick the brush pen, and I'm going to sample my part purple, which is kind of the in-between color, not the very light, but not the most dark one. And just draw these nice leaves. Just define the petals. And that's the basic flower. Now, what I can do is duplicate this layer and shift it a little bit. So I'm creating a variation of the design using my shape. I can also warp it if I want to. Let's bring it a bit closer. And that's another thing that I can do. And let's grab the original flower, and again, I'm going to duplicate it. And create another little variation over here. So we have 3 flowers. I can merge them down, another on a single layer. And now I'm gonna pick up a darker shade, and I'm going to draw these very nice petals at the base of the flowers. Okay, the last thing that I will do is draw the flower stems. So we want to create these very gentle lines. And another thing that I can do to vary the design is really play with some leaves. And let's see how they work together. Let's Let's reposition everything. And adding more elements to this design, but this is the basic, and these are the basic elements. We have those flowers and these beautiful textured leaves. I hope you enjoyed this demonstration, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye for now.